Okay, let's see if this works. So I want to try this out. Um, the Screencastify. So this is an idea called the elaboration likelihood model. Okay, this is an idea from psychology, from persuasion psychology. The elaboration likelihood model, ELM of persuasion, is a dual process theory. Okay, so dual process theory means that depending on the type of information and the type of person receiving the information, they might process it in one of two ways. Okay, there's only two ways, dual. Describing changes of attitudes. ELM was developed by Richard Petty and John Capio in the 1980s. The model aims to explain different ways of processing stimulus, so information, why they're used, and what outcome they have on attitude change. ELM proposes two major routes to persuasion, a central route and a peripheral route. So basically saying like, okay, what kind of information that you're exposed to actually changes how you think about things. And what this is saying is that's not a complicated enough question. There's actually two different routes that this happens. Under the central route, persuasion is likely to result from a person's careful, thoughtful consideration of the true merits of information presented in support of an advocacy. The central route involves a high level of message elaboration, in which a great amount of cognition about the arguments are generated by the individual receiving the message. The result of the attitude change will be relatively enduring, resistant, and predictive of behavior. If you're trying to convince somebody that's really into cars that the engine of one car is better than another car, and you can make a solid argument in a language they understand, and in the words that they understand, and in a technical language they understand, and you change their mind, it's probably going to be relatively enduring, lasting, resistant to other information, and actually pretty predictive of their behavior. But if you're talking to someone that doesn't care about cars, central root processing isn't going to be having the effect. For them, you want to be showing them car commercials where they're with their friends at the beach because they're using the peripheral route. Persuasion results from a person's association with positive or negative cues in the information or the car ad or whatever, or making a simple inference about the merits of an advocated position. Is this point true or not? The cues received by the individual under the peripheral route are generally unrelated to the logical quality of the stimulus. It doesn't necessarily matter if one car is more fun to go to the beach with than a different one. These cues will involve factors such as the credibility or attractiveness of the source of the message, or the product or the production quality of the message, how good the commercial is. Okay, so the central idea of the elaboration likelihood, think of that. How likely is it that the person's going to spend the time to elaborate and think deeply? Because if they're not, then you don't advertise to that. Okay, let's see if that worked. Cheers. That was just a quick little presentation of a model called elaboration likelihood model. Very brief intro to it, but let's see if that worked.